SMT Nation, we back. Nation, Ookla just dropped their speed test connectivity report testing and the data collected from January to June of 2024, so the first half of the year. And it tells us a lot about the state of the networks. T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, how are they all doing? And how are they doing relative to one another? Let's talk about that here in today's video. The release of the data and the website for you guys, I'll provide a link in the description. Ways to support us can be found there as well. Please do like and share this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Turn on the bell notifications icon so you never miss an upload from the SMT. All right, folks, this is not Root Metrics. This is Ookla. Ookla is crowdsourced collected data. So you're getting results from all over the country, from a lot of different devices, from a lot of random people. So if you're more into the scientific methodologies, then you probably like Root a little bit more. But if you're kind of into crowdsource and just data collection in that way for a large body of data, then this is cool too. It's something we take into consideration here on the channel as one of the metrics for how networks are doing. All right, so with that being said, getting that out of the way, here is who dominated. It's T-Mobile. Fastest mobile network overall, most consistent network overall, and they got the top rated mobile network. So they won the 3 awards, if you will, in the mobile segment. All right, so we talked about the speed scores and those types of things. Here's what I want to discuss though in today's video. I want to take a look at the fastest 5G network. This means leaving LTE out of it, specifically just looking at 5G when it's up in an icon and it's connected to 5G cell bands. How are the networks performing relative to speed? The reason why this matters is because companies are marketing this. T-Mobile sells you, they market and advertise largest 5G network, fastest 5G network. Those two statements are true. On a national scale, they have the largest 5G network and the fastest 5G network. But there's something important we need to look at. Their closest competitor is Verizon at 191 megabits per second. T-Mobile's at 228 megabits per second. AT&T's very distant. They're not even close to first place. They're 100 megabits per second away. I just want to take a look at the top 2 because they are the closest to one another. Verizon is somewhere between 250 and 260 million pops of C-band or N77. Their dedicated mid-band 5G network across the country. They're probably not going to get to 300 million pops for another year, right? I think at the earliest, to me, I think so, right? So maybe mid-year next year or something like that. In the meantime, you have to consider what can you do in terms of national speeds when you go from 250 or 260 million pops to 300. It makes a huge difference. You're going to be densifying the network. You're going to be increasing fiber circuits to tower sites, and you're going to be putting on 140 or up to 200 megahertz of N77, a dedicated mid-band 5G channel. In that time frame, I think it's pretty fair to expect Verizon to overtake T-Mobile. I think it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. I understand that T-Mobile has some DoD holdings, some N77 in the form of C-band and DoD, and they're going to deploy that at some point. I don't know when. We're going to need disclosures from T-Mobile on that, and I don't know how fast they're going to build to it, and I don't know what they're going to be doing to fiber circuits in that time frame. I have no idea, but it's pretty clear that Verizon is cooking with gas. They're building out their 5G UW, ultra-wideband, N77, their C-band, blistering fast. They're closing the speed gap on basically every single report we're seeing. Now, I'm speaking specifically to the 5G network build. In the process, Verizon also modernizes their sites. So T-Mobile has a good fight on its hands. T-Mobile has already, for the most part, put N41 on all their cell sites. There's probably not that many left. I'd say at least 90% of their cell sites in the country have N41 installed. So there's some that are additionally going to get it. There'll be some modernization in that sense. And then some sites, no doubt, will see multi-gig fiber circuits. Their speed should increase, right? So they're at 228 right now. I expect that to increase over time. So maybe a year from now, they're probably closer to 250. But I think Verizon's going to be over 250 at that time because they're going to be adding so much spectrum on air, modernizing and adding LTE carriers that some sites never had, increasing fiber circuits, right? All things created equal, considering all elements, I think Verizon's going to be faster on a national crowdsourced scale. In root metrics, it's a little bit different. They test like they have a different way of testing it, but in the root markets, like the top 100, 125, Verizon's already faster than T-Mobile in a lot of those markets, right? It's the national scale where Verizon still hasn't caught up because there's more work to do outside of the metros. So it's not the top 100 markets, it's the next 100 markets, it's the next 50 after that that's going to be the closing the gap between Verizon and T-Mobile. So as of right now, T-Mobile's still faster. They're still faster by like 15%, like 10 or 15% on a national scale. But that lead can close very quickly. And the problem for T-Mobile is if they don't defend that position, which it's up to them if they decide to. Whatever they do is what's best for their business. But it's going to be hard to market largest 5G network once Verizon and even AT&T match your 5G pops. And then it's also going to be hard to sell fastest 5G network when Verizon becomes faster than yours. You can't market something that just isn't true. So they're going to have to defend their position, defend the largest 5G network, and defend the fastest 5G network. Otherwise, they have to start advertising something else. Maybe lowest cost 5G network, cheapest 5G network. That's what you're going to have to do because there's data to prove or disprove any type of claims a carrier puts out there. So props to T-Mobile for continuing to win these metrics and these tests and these surveys and data collections. But they clearly have a good fight on their hands from Verizon. They're definitely coming. It's pretty clear they're cooking with gas. They're building out a 5G network, I think, faster than we've ever seen. AT&T's got some work to do. They definitely lag. Sound off in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think about all this. Tell me if and when you think Verizon will pass. Maybe you don't agree with me. Maybe you don't think Verizon will pass T-Mobile. Let me know what your position is. Give me your rationale. And as my last bit of this, I actually think AT&T is going to be the most improved between now and next year. I think they're going to increase the most by percentage. Like, I think they're going to go from 131 megabits in 5G. I think they're going to go to like 220. Like, they'll be where like T-Mobile is today, which would be crazy. But that's my thing. I think that Ericsson conversion from Nokia, and I think the fiber circuits, getting the DoD and C-band on air is going to make that big of a difference. They'll be right there, just slightly behind the other two. Sound off in the comment section below. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.